Welcome to the bench. I'm hoping you're hearing me okay. And I'm going to give it a couple of minutes here. Let some folks hopefully show up. Just kind of sizing up the area of work that I got to do here. Got to do it. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. I'm hoping y'all can hear me. I'm talking a little bit. Hopefully the mic is picking me up okay. I don't know. It's showing that mic is working. Oh, yeah. I think we're working. Dust. Whew. Knock the dust off of her a little bit. That looks good. All right, so we're about to embark on putting new strings on a Synyster Gates Schecter signature guitar. Give you a flyby here. Here she is. White. Really beautiful guitar. Look at that thing. Isn't that gorgeous? We're going to clean up the frets. I'll show you a little bit about how I do that. And we're going to do a setup on the good old Floyd Rose. I get asked about this a lot. So this content may be very helpful to a few people that might own a guitar like this. Maybe a little intimidated by the fact of or the prospect of having to change strings on one of these. So the first thing is never tighten any of these 3mm screws. It's, again, not an Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. Get them snug and call it a day. If something slips, redo it. But you don't want to strip these out. These parts are fragile, I'll say at best. This is an actual Floyd Rose. It's not a licensed by Floyd Rose like an Ibanez type tremolo system would be. Obviously gold in color. We'll clean that up a little bit today, get it polished. In fact, now we'll wait on doing that. So I'm going to start removing the strings off of this instrument. And I keep a little magnetic dish here with for the metal parts, so that if the dish gets knocked on the floor, the parts don't end up all over the floor. I'm sure that's probably never happened, right? And if you drop one of these screws, say goodbye. That will vanish into infinity and you will never find it again. That's been my experience. But never forget who you're messing with here. Pull these strings off of here. The owner of this guitar started to put new strings on it himself and quickly realized that he was in over his head. So I'm kind of making this video so that maybe he can watch it in the future and not have to bring it in to me to have the strings changed. A couple of details about this is that we're going to be setting this up for a drop D tuning. And once that's done on a Floyd Rose, if you want to go back to standard pitch, you have to reset up the tension on the Floyd Rose. And another thing that I got going here is there are two broken strings right here, and I almost poked my finger for the second time on a guitar string, and boy, that was way too tight, way tighter than it needs to be. I'm not sure who put strings on this last time, I know I didn't. This is the first time I've ever worked on this guitar. So we're just going through the motions here of getting prepped. Now, I know the whole trick about 9-volt batteries. I've never done it and probably never will. So it's completely unnecessary. But you know, if you want to do that, go ahead. Consider it kind of a, I don't know, it works. I just don't do it. These strings off of here. Yeah, I most certainly didn't. I did not put strings on this the last time. These are not wound like I would wind them. They're close. At least they're not tied in a, well, almost tied in a knot. Put this up here. And I hope you all are doing well on this beautiful Tuesday. We're having some really wonderful, gorgeous weather here in our part of the country. It's beautiful outside right now. Mm-hmm. Broken strings, getting fun getting them off the machine heads. There we go. All right, got them off of there. We're going to set this up with a set of Ernie Ball Slinky 10s. But before we get there, we're going to go ahead and polish these frets a little bit. Give them a good look over. They look great. They're hardly, this guitar hasn't been played a lot at this point. Probably stainless steel frets. So I'm going to take some 1500 grit. The neck isn't, the frets aren't too terribly tarnished or anything. So we're just going to give them a real good, quick polishing. Just hit the tops of them. Oh, the gosh, they already look so much better. This will be a real quick thing, and then we'll clean up the fingerboard and get all the DNA off of it. I do this on almost every single guitar that I put strings on, unless the frets just don't need it. These ones need it. Make them look nice and shiny. They'll look nice for maybe a week or so, unless the dude sweats a lot, and then this polishing job may not last too long. But boy, those look nice. Yo. Hey, Rogue. Hey, yeah, I haven't moved since yesterday. Hi, Charlie. Welcome, you guys. I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. I'm kind of going about this a little bit differently today with my sound. I'm hoping that I'm loud enough and that you can hear me. If not, maybe let me know. I don't know if I have a volume control for my microphone at this point. Kind of going about it a different way. Yesterday, using OBS, I was having some trouble with the internet and such. I hope you guys are doing well. It's great to see you guys here. Thanks for joining me in this adventure. I don't know how much of the video you've seen thus far, but we're putting new strings on a Synyster Gates signature Schecter guitar. This is what this is. Beautiful guitar. Guy got a really great deal on it buying it used. So I'm really happy that he brought it to me. It was time for new strings, and he started putting strings on it and realized he had gotten in over his head on this. It's a widely misunderstood way to do these, and they're really not. Putting strings on a Floyd Rose impregnated is what I call them. Floyd Rose impregnated guitar is really not that big of a deal. It's a lot simpler than it might seem. I use 1500 grit sandpaper. I do not use any steel wool on my bench. It's not allowed near my bench. Yeah. Let me type a message here. Are you guys able to hear me? Okay. I'm going to keep going here. Now we're going to clean the fingerboard. And we're just going to do this a real quick cleaning of the fingerboard. All right, great. Thank you. Yeah, again, I'm using just YouTube Studio to do the live stream, which I haven't done before. So I'm not really able to see how loud my voice is in here. I don't have a meter. Awesome. Hey, my spray bottle broke. I wonder how that happened. Well, that's interesting. So here's what we'll do. We'll just undo the top off of this thing, and we'll get some cleaner on this. This part of the job's going to be fairly I don't know. This is just something we generally do. My process of cleaning a guitar. I like to get a pretty good amount of cleaner on. Works great. I have a lot of peers in the industry that use this for cleaning fingerboards. You can also use Roncinol lighter fluid. Works great. It evaporates into nothing if you're cleaning your fingerboard. All I'm doing right now is just getting the cleaner on here thick enough that I can use a toothbrush and clean the fingerboard. Lid back on this, but so again, just kind of knocking the DNA off of the wood. This appears to have a rosewood fingerboard. Oh yeah, that's looking so much better. Just a little bit of work makes this thing just look great. Just doesn't take much. This isn't something that you have to do every time you change guitar strings, but it is a good idea. Keeps the thing looking good, and especially if you're a gigging musician. If you're out playing gigs, man, those lights hit your fingerboard and it's all nice and clean. It looks a whole lot better. Just a regular old paper towel, wiping off the fingerboard. I like to use a paper towel just because I can cover the whole bottom of the guitar and not get cleaner all over my bench. Normally I'd be squirting that on there, but my spray nozzle on my bottle got broke somehow. Okay. Doing a little polishing on the hardware as I go. Let's see. And with the strings off, here's another little thing that you should always do. I'll show you up here. These nuts, you'll see they're only, this one was about right there when I started, and I've tightened it up a little bit. You want to check those for making sure they're tight. You can see I can loosen them all with my fingers pretty much. Yeah, all of them. They're only hand tight. So my crescent. And when I vanish like that, it's usually because I'm digging in my toolbox. So I like to use a crescent wrench on these. Fits nice and tight. Just get them snug. No reason to get reefing on them. You don't want to crack the finish on the headstock, but just get them snug. Stop. Pretty much nothing on the guitar requires a lot of force when you're tightening stuff down. And I think a lot of you probably are well aware of that, but you don't know how many Les Pauls I've gotten in here. And I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing there. Where the finish is cracked because somebody took a wrench to one of these and cranked it down to the point that the finish, the lacquer, cracked. And we'll do a flyby on the fingerboard. I've kind of polished up the machine heads and the stems and all that stuff, all the hardware up here. I'm gonna take a rag and wipe the buttons off. Just little cleaning things that I do. So when I hand this guitar back to the owner, it looks better than when I got it. All right, that looks all looks good. And we'll take a little bit of polishing to these locks. The blocks go on here. God, don't lose these. Yeah, it appears that the guy, maybe the prior owner of this, probably sweat a lot because they're pretty gummed up. And this is just a dry rag, my shop towel, if you will. Works great to get those things shining again. Hopefully you can see what I'm up to here. I got to talk to my cameraman. He's not very Johnny on the spot most of the time. Oh yeah, that looks so much nicer. I hope everybody's doing great today. I know I am. Had a wonderful day so far. I literally just got to work. Give you a look at the frets. Let me put the lid back on this so I don't spill it. Oh yeah, brother. Okay. Now I'm going to grab a brand new rag. I got a bag of rags here. I always keep these handy at my bench. It's mostly just kind of t-shirt material, if you will. I can usually turn one of them into like 4 or 5 of them. That's a big old rag. So we're gonna make that a little bit smaller. And I normally will go through a bag and cut them up, but I just simply haven't had time. I've been working so much that, so I'm going to shrink this down into at least 3 rags. Really beautiful guitar, man. This guy, I believe he got it used, and he told me what he'd pay for it, and I'm going to not divulge that information because there'd be a few pissed off guitar players out there. He got a smoking deal on this guitar. We'll make it into one more. What the heck? I like to keep a real good clean rag handy so that if I need to wipe anything off, I can grab a new clean fresh rag that doesn't have a bunch of wood chips or metal flakes or anything like that in it, so I don't scratch the finish. Kind of an important part of the, you don't want to scratch somebody's guitar, although any scratch can be polished out. All right, so what I'm going to do here is just, I've cleaned up the fingerboard, but now I'm going over the frets one more time to remove any of the remnants of the cleaner that might be left over. And these are almost certainly stainless steel frets. I'll have to look up the specs on this guitar to tell you for sure. If they are, I don't know. All right. Looking really good. And then, okay, it's time for some my favorite linseed oil. Well, I've been going through a lot of that, but you know, trying to keep track of how many guitars I work on in a week is difficult. You guys would probably know better than I would. Although I don't put a live video up of every single instrument I work on. If I have time, I do it. Look at that. That just comes right to life. Boy, that looks awesome. All right. I do my best to keep the linseed oil off the finish because it just goes forever. Hello.
Hello.
You doing a guitar lesson with Jeff today?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Make yourself right at home. I think I might need to move a guitar case in there. Is there one sitting across that chair? Yeah. Okay, let me move that for you. Guitar students showing up. I love it. Any questions so far? Electro Mega, hello. All right. I'll be right there to get that guitar out of there. I got to get this oil off this neck. Okay. Again, we go over it with a dry rag to get all of the remaining oil off of the frets. Wipe it on, wipe it off. Don't leave any puddles. Don't leave any drips. And look at that. Whew. Oh, that looks so nice. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back. Have fun. All right, so we've gotten this thing cleaned up. Got the fingerboard oiled, polished. Taking a rag and wiping down the guitar, making sure there's no remaining guck on here. Often there's a lot of junk inside the pickup cavity or around the pickups. Checking these knobs. Almost looks like there's a little bit of a pitting going on the knobs. So I'm guessing that the guy that owned this probably sweat, and he had the sweat, the demon sweat, eats into these Rogue. Oh, I get you, Rogue. I understand, dude. I don't do this sort of thing to my own guitars on a regular basis. The shoe keepers guitars, if you will. Although mine, if I have an issue with the playability, I will always take the time to make an adjustment to the setup. Although mine are very consistent. I'm not hard on them. I don't gig with them a lot. They are almost all primarily used in a recording studio environment, so I keep my place tidy so I don't have to do a whole ton of cleaning, although they do get dust on them. It's a good idea also, when you think about it, if you keep a rag like this, or I can go to the dollar store and buy these guys. They work great. Just keep one of these handy and wipe it down every once in a while, kind of whenever you think about it, and you can really keep the finish looking really nice on a guitar for a long time. Okay, so this thing's looking great. So again, what we're doing, we're swapping out the strings that were on this guitar to a set of Ernie Ball's Slinky 10s, and we're going to set this thing up to be tuned to a drop D. That's where the owner wants it. And I am totally just fine with doing that. But once we're set up to a drop D tuning, the Floyd you can't standard exactly Electro Mega. That is it's a Synyster Gates signature Schecter guitar. It does not have the Sustainiac in it. It's got 2 Seymour Duncans. So I'm not sure what pickups are in this. I would guess that they're probably some sort of Synyster Gates signature, or maybe he helped design them. I haven't heard this guitar yet. Haven't even plugged it in. I'll do that when I can make some decent noise with it. Well, in fact, let's do that real quick just to test it. That would be wise. Ooh, we're plugged in. We have some delay. I'm going to turn the delay off. So this should be tone and volume work great. So it's a coil tap. All right. Sorry, I'm not getting you guys on the controls here. So we have a push pull, and you can hear the hum that happens. Single coil humbucker, and as a humbucker, and then we pull the single coil. Wow, that's an interesting configuration. And then the bridge pickup. So total coil tap on that. Yeah. Yeah, I actually kind of like them. They make them in a like that gray and black color combination, which I've seen several of. Let me turn my amp off. Sorry about that noise. I think they're pretty cool, and they're very, very comfortable guitars to play. The shape and everything, very much like an offset or a Strat style guitar with respect to the way the bottom portion of this is. So I really kind of like them, but I'm a huge Strat fan. Okay, so we're gonna get going on putting strings on this thing right out of the gate, and I'll show you my method for doing this. This is a really kind of an important part, and a part that I get asked a lot about. Hey, Jeff. My method for doing a string change on a Floyd Rose impregnated guitar is I cut the ball end off with a pair of dikes. I set the string up, and I'm using the whammy bar instead of a 9-volt battery to get the string into its position. Be very careful not to lose those pins in there. There we go. And then I just snug them up. As you can see, I'm using the lever so that I've got the set screw that I can tighten up. That's good enough. Go up here under the string tree, come up to this end, and I go under the string tree, 2 wraps over the top of your wraps through the hole, pull it taut, and tighten it up. Now, on this one, you got to be really careful with the string winder, because the string winder will hit the finish where this is curved. So you want to be careful not to, if you're working on one of these, not to chip the paint. And you'll also notice that I did not cut that string end off. But this is my process. We'll go through all of these. I'll try and be as quick as I can about it. We're not having any kind of competition, but again, cut the end of the ball off. I cut all of the windings off. I don't leave any of the windings on there. Cut them off so that you got a straight piece of string. All right. I usually try and cinch them up by hand, get them snug, tighten them down. Use a good 3 mil Allen or hex key. It's a hex key. It's not an Allen key. Allen key is the name brand. This is actually technically a hex key. Snug it up. There we go. And the same process. Two wraps. I know you guys have seen me do this a bunch of times. I'll do this quickly as I can. If you want, go ahead and keep a clock on me. Obviously, I'm going to have a lot more to go. All right. Any of you guys own a guitar with a Floyd Rose? Just curious. And don't feel bad if you don't. I own one. I love it. I have an RG 570 with the identical Floyd Rose system as this one. Mine's licensed by Ibanez, licensed by Floyd Rose. It's an Ibanez brand. Woohoo. I'm not going to use my string winder on that because I don't want to scratch the paint. It's just a little too risky. Nope. Yep. Okay. Rogue, so do you own like a Stratocaster style guitar with the bar on it that you've removed the bar? And again, when I cut these, you can see that it's wound up to that point. I cut the windings, all of them, off. I don't leave any of the windings. I've seen them brought in that the people left the windings on there. I think that is more potentially a troublemaker because you have that bit of winding there that could potentially slip, I suppose. So I just cut the balls up, the complete winding and the ball off of the guitar. And I do keep a stash of ball ends here in case I get a Les Paul with a Tune-o-matic style bridge that somebody wants to do a wrap over, because often the strings will get up where if you touch them, they'll cut your hand. So I use the extra ball to take up a little extra distance on the string. Probably would be able to wind this string on here a whole lot more quickly, but the way this headstock is designed, I'd be potentially damaging the paint. I don't want to do that. Okay. 3 single coils. Yeah. Okay. What do you have? Something like a Squire Strat Rogue, or is it an off-brand other than Fender? I'm guessing it's a Strat with 3 single coils, although that could be a multitude of different guitars. And I appreciate you engaging with me like that. That's really super cool of you, man. It's kind of fun to get to talk to somebody while I'm here at work. Usually I don't talk to anybody. And another thing is, do yourself a favor and don't cut the ends of your strings off until you are done. I know I say that all the time. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many different ways to do these, and I realize that. The reason I do them the way I do them and pulling all this one, of course, came in with broken strings. But I generally pull all the strings off because that enables me to easily clean the fingerboard and polish the frets if it's needed. It's not necessary. I don't, I don't say that the way I do things is necessarily gospel. But I will say that I bought a guitar with a Floyd Rose impregnated RG570 in 1989, and I've been changing strings on my Floyd Rose exactly the way you're watching me do it since that time, and it works. So. I recently watched a contest between Kiko Lario from Megadeth and his guitar tech. They were able to get a set of strings on a Floyd Rose in, I think, 9 minutes. So I don't think I'm too far behind them at this point. So I'm probably at about 10 or 12 minutes at this point. So now what I've got going here is the imbalance of the Floyd. It's tilted back, and I want it to be level across the top of the plane of the body, and you can see it's tilted down, right, or tilted in this direction down towards the back of the guitar. So we're going to get the pitch. As I'm doing this, the Floyd Rose is starting to raise up to become more level, and I have no idea where this will end up because I have no idea what string gauge was used on this originally, and I'm not even concerned about the string action at this point because I can adjust that, obviously. So I'm getting pretty close. Look at the back of this. So we still have the kick guard on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the bar off of this and pull the or the back cover off of here. Oh, Electro Mega. So you're very familiar with Schecter guitars. That's awesome. I don't personally own one. I have worked on a lot of them, and I have a very good opinion of them. I think all guitar manufacturers are guilty of building sort of crappy guitars in the world of guys that know good guitars from bad ones. But Schecter has done a pretty dang good job in the construction, the finishes on their guitars. They've been a very, I love seeing them and I love working on them because they respond really well. The other thing is that this plate is on backwards. When you put this plate on, it should actually be in this orientation. And also, I believe that the plastic cover on this has not been taken off yet. And we're going to remove that. I'm going to remove this for the owner. It's obviously been on here for a while because it is not going to be easy to get off. So I'm going to leave that plate off because I'm going to definitely be getting in here and adjusting these set screws. I like the spring arrangement, the way these are done. I don't like them triangulated. I like the three springs being in a row. There's really no good reason for me to say that other than that's how I've had mine personal guitar set up for years, and it just holds tune really well. These do have a pretty nice, good thick steel block. So, you know, this is not a cheaply built pot metal tremolo system. This is definitely steel. It's not pot metal. I'm going to pull this this cover plate off of here. And while I have this off of here, I am going to take a moment to hit the controls with a little bit of cleaning fluid and lube to get them, you know, might as well do what I can do while I have stuff open. I've got to get this plastic cover off of here or it's going to be stuck on there forever. I did talk to the owner about that. Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. This one, I can't tell you how it was set up because when it got here, it had broken strings on it. So I was not able to play it. Look at the electronics inside here. Very well organized, very well done. Get some more light. Push-pull pot, and I've got a place I can get cleaning and lube down in there. Yeah, looks great. Very well, very organized. And they've used what appears to be grounding paint or, oh, what's that stuff called? Somebody remind me. So I'm going to go to my typical cleaner slash lube. In here, the stuff works every bit as good as Deoxit. Costs about 1/10, no, about half of what you'd pay for Deoxit. This is tiny little shot in here. There's no problem with these electronics. I just want to take the opportunity to give them a good cleaning. The controls feel really nice. They're a little bit snug. I like to have pretty easy control, and it's amazing. In just that little moment of shooting that lube in there, this knob definitely became easier to turn. So the thing was probably a little gummed up, but not unusable, and it certainly wasn't making any noise. So this is just a kind of a preemptive strike. So, you know, a couple years from now, it should still be working in perfect working order. I just do everything I can when I got one on my bench and they're paying me to do this for them, do it right, and do everything. This guy gave me free rein to do what's necessary. And I've got a spot here on the tone pot. I grab this tone pot. We'll give it a few turns. It's just a tiny little spot of that cleaner in there. Doesn't take much. Pulling it up now and turning it. And pushing it back down. There we go. Okay. I think we're in good shape when it comes to that. Now, let us see if we can get the cover off of here. do keep my fingernails fairly short because I like to play guitar, but having a little bit of fingernail in this position is kind of nice. Helps you get going. Yeah, I have nothing bad or critical really to say about Schecter instruments. They've been pretty good since the day I started seeing them on the shelves at guitar centers worldwide. I would just wish that they would sell to small shops like mine at the same price that they would sell to a corporation like Guitar Center. But I can't buy 20,000 guitars at once. Like companies like Gibson and Fender cut some of the greatest salesmen right out of their workforce. We sell a lot of guitars here, but none of them are Gibsons. None of them are Schecters. None of them are Ibanez. Not none of them, but almost none of them, unless they're used, which is fine, but it'd still be great to be able to sell my buddy a Les Paul, make a profit, and sell it for the same price that a corporation like Guitar Center sells them for. My rant is over. Some guck down inside here. I'm just trying to get that stuff out so it looks nice. Let me put it back together. There's that. All right, I know, turning screws. Isn't this fun? It'll be quick. I arrived at work today about 3 o'clock. I had some appointments this morning and had one of the most amazing conversations with a young man from Russia who just moved to our community, and have a new understanding of thoughts on what's happening over there. Been pretty interesting. I haven't kept myself educated about what's going on, and we don't know what media to believe. So that's kind of an interesting story all in its own. Okay, so we're getting close. We're getting close. Now, tuning one of these up from basically ground zero, it definitely takes some time. And I'm taking a look at the bridge, and it's still tilted down in the back. So I can pretty sure that I'm going to have to make some adjustments to the screws in the back. Okay, so currently the guitar is tuned up to pitch. I'm going to check the string action here, and it's pretty darn perfect with the new strings on here with the drop D. However, the saddles are tilted back, so that means I need to create some relief in the springs. So what we do, get my glasses out of the way. I'm going to 1, 2, 3 turns. 1, 2, 3 turns. And now we're really tilted. And now we're gonna readjust the tuning. I'm getting close. I might have got lucky on that one. Now, this portion of the setup is where I think a lot of people get lost because they'll change the string gauge um, with their guitar that's impregnated with a florid rose, and they don't realize that everything balances on that string tension. And I know a lot of you guys probably know that, but in the method that I use, there are several other methods to do this. And I'm not saying what I'm doing is gospel, but I've been doing it this way from the day I bought one, and it's worked for me and been flawlessly. I could go home and grab my Ibanez with the Floyd Rose on it, and I'll play a chord on it right now, and it will be in perfect tune. Um, yes, conductive shielding paint. Thank you, Omega. Let's see. You get any Music Man guitar? I do on occasion work on Music Man guitars. I don't own one. We have two guys here in town that own Music Man basses that I've done setups for. One of the guy owns 3 of them, and they are fantastic instruments. Now, one thing I failed to do, all of these tuners, um, I'm backing them all the way out until they stop, right? These are the fine tuners. And then on the treble, 3 treble strings, I give them about a turn. I'm giving them 3/4 turns. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On the lower strings, give them about 2. And typically on a Floyd Rose, these strings are going to fall flat, so you want to leave plenty of room to sharpen the pitch of the strings because you're bending on these ones and you're stretching the strings. So. Boy. Oh my. Now again, I've set up Floyd Roses so many times that I kind of have a little bit of know-how and what stuff should feel like when I'm turning screws inside this guitar. So where I'm at right now, that's what your Floyd Rose should look like in its natural standing position, perfectly level with the top. And in my humble opinion, that is tilted back towards the butt of the guitar, ever so slightly, but doing a setup like this, this thing will bite back and it will probably settle a little bit overnight. I don't send these home the day that I'm done working on them. I let them sit overnight. I've got another Schecter that I set up yesterday for a different guitar owner. They come in droves. It is an Apocalypse guitar with a Sustainiac system in it. Really super cool guitar. As far as I know, fairly expensive guitar also. And I set it up yesterday, got it all working, came in today and rechecked my work. We're talking about springs that can stretch, being pulled on by strings that can stretch, being held in place by a piece of wood that can change overnight. So very cautious about sending one home before I know it's going to hold true to the setup that I put on the guitar. I usually hold on to them for 24 hours or so to make sure that they're done right and they're going to hold what I've told them, do what I told them to do. Okay, we've got it tuned up to pitch. Going to check the neck radius or the neck relief now. On this guitar, I'm going to shoot for about 8 thousandths. And we'll see where we're at. I know you're not going to be able to see this real well. Let me get my camera. I keep calling my cameraman, but he doesn't answer his phone. All right. So there's currently way too much relief. Whoop, it's got a belly in it. It's not a banana neck, but it's close. So let's fix that. Let me bring you up here. I know y'all probably can turn a truss rod and all that, but I'll show you how I do it. So this screw has definitely been gummed up a little bit. Somebody else has had a wrench on it. It looks like it's been bit. Somebody stripped it ever so slightly. Now my hope is that I've got a wrench that I'll be able to get in here. It's a 4 mil. Let me grab my 4 mil and I'm going to tighten this, and I need a longer 4 mil, which means I'm going to grab this one. I love this wrench, and it works perfectly. So I got to make sure I'm going the right direction. I'm tightening this to take some of the relief out of it. I have to think, make sure I'm turning it the correct direction. The truss rod works great. So, yeah. I'm going to give it just a couple of nudges here, and we'll check the relief again. Get you right in here on the action. Hopefully you can see this okay. I need to unplug the, there we go. So checking the neck relief. Now this is a 12 thousandths feeler gauge, and I said I'm going for 8 thousandths because I can see how much that string is moving, and we are right in there at 8 thousandths with just that little turn right there. I usually check around the 6th, 7th, 5th fret. I'm going to give it one more little nudge, and I'm going to call it a day. Yep, that's it. Done. The neck relief is now proper. And I'll know that when I get it all tuned up and set up to completion, because we'll make sure that there's no fret buzz on it. We're not fretting out anywhere. I don't know what I'm going to be able to get away with on this one yet. Let's go. Okay. Sounding good there, young man. I like it.
We'll drop D today.
Nice. Yes, indeed. Now this is where stuff gets real interesting. Now it's time for me to check the string action here. And on this guitar, I am almost certain that is a Gibson scale. Neck, and I'm absolutely right. Okay. So we're going to check the neck or the string action at the 12th fret. And here's what my dimensions are. On the low E string, we're sitting directly at 4/64ths. And on the high E string, we're also at 4/64ths. We know the neck relief is correct. The first fret action, I'm going to check that real quick. I'm going to check it with 16 thousandths. Perfect. Schecter did a good job on this one. This guitar is, when I get done with this one, this is going to be sweet. So we've got all that dialed in. I think that I will take the treble strings down in action ever so slightly. I want to get that around 3/64ths here at the 12th fret. But before I do that, I'm going to play the guitar a little bit just to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and actually, before I plug it in, get you here. I want to play the guitar ever for a moment just to see if we've got any fret buzz anywhere noticeable. Now, one thing that I do, given the fact that I do play guitar and I bend strings, and this guitar will have strings bent on it, I make sure that I can get a 3-fret bend. And this one, I could probably get a 5-fret bend. And I haven't stretched the strings out yet. So I'm bending that string up for four semitones. 0 fret buzz. Okay, I'm going to stretch these out. We'll do an intonation setup here soon enough. And then we'll adjust the pickup height. All right. Forgive me, I haven't been watching the chat, you guys. I have to stay busy. So if there have been any questions asked, forgive me for not answering them quickly. And I'm sure that there are plenty of guitar players in here or techs that know about this stuff. Can answer just about any question. I am not nice when I stretch strings. I don't break very many of them when I'm stretching them, but that's not to say that I haven't. Another thing that I like to do on a Floyd Rose impregnated guitar is I like to use the bar without the nut being locked to allow those strings to give them a little bit of slack and allow them to come back and behave in much the same way a Stratocaster would with no locking nut. That's pretty darn close. Let's hear this thing plugged in. What do you say? So let's put a little bit of overdrive on it and some delay, just so I sound like I know I can play a little bit. The guitar is staying in really good tune using the whammy bar, even with the locking nut not locked. Pretty amazing, huh? I'm pretty sure that the guitar is probably not in perfectly good tune, but let's check. Pretty close. So it's holding tune really, really well, even without the locking nut locked, which is really nice. Pretty sweet guitar. I'm digging it. Strange to me. It's a little different than the all the time. Sean Aaron, hello. Right on. Let's see. Yeah. Oh man, I don't have a Boss Metal Zone. I'm running a. Let's see. I have a Zen Man overdrive boost. It's made by Peavey. Cool, cool. Sean, thanks for being here, man. I hope you're having a great day. Those of you hanging in here, I really appreciate y'all being here. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm. Gets my stuff out there to more people. I'm really just sharing with you my workbench, specifically because I have kind of time to do it. And I think I get more done when I'm talking. Makes me think. Makes me think. We're looking really good, and the guitar feels really good at this point. Although, as I showed you earlier, it seemed like the saddle was starting to tilt up a little bit, and here's what it looks like now. You see that the back edge of that saddle has started to lift ever so slightly. So there's a little bit of an angle here on the saddle. So we're going to correct that right now, which means I get to retune this guitar 6 times. And it's part of the process because you can't just do this once and expect these springs and everything to be exactly right. So I'm giving them one kind of a half a turn or a quarter turn. And now we'll retune. And just like clockwork, all the strings went sharp. These Schecters just respond so well to any movement that you make on the pieces that are supposed to keep it in check. It's just really awesome guitars. Okay, so now I've dropped the pitch of all the strings. I want to check the alignment, and I still have some room to go. Still tilted ever so slightly, and I don't mess with it. I want it to be exactly level right here with the top of the guitar. Call me picky. I get paid to be picky. Well, that I'm hoping you can see that that is absolutely perfectly flat with the top of the body. I'm really digging how that looks right now, so I'm going to stop with that. Next thing I'll do is adjust our pickup height. I use a normal old ruler and check the height. Now the pickups are way too far away from the strings. They don't need to be that far away, so we're going to gain some brightness out of these pickups. Getting your pickups closer to the strings doesn't necessarily make them louder. In fact, it doesn't make them louder. It makes them brighter, which is perceived as volume in the human ear. They might get a little bit louder, but I don't know if it's even measurable with respect to volume. Still way too far away. And usually, another kind of a rule that I have when I'm working on guitars, I don't use my eye to measure anything until the very last moment. I like to have a good level playing field to start with, that I know that the dimension is right. And then I can adjust to feel. Perfect. Whew. Boy, somebody had these backed way away from the strings. I'm not quite sure why, but getting there. I usually don't have to raise pickups. I usually have to lower them. And the big danger in having your pickups too close to your strings is the magnetic pull of the pickups will kill your sustain. So right now, I'm at 4/32 on the bass strings, and I am at 3/32 on the treble strings. And I usually start there and see how things respond. And now it's time to break out the old Peterson. We'll set this up. We'll get the bar put back in place. I'm going to check this real quick because it seemed like it was acting a little yanky. Somebody probably tightened this too far. It's nice and snug. And I've still left the back off of this because I may still have to adjust the springs. I usually leave the back off of them overnight. My personal guitar that has a Floyd Rose, I leave the back off of it permanently. Now, I also, when I'm doing the intonation, I use the neck pickup. Tuners seem to hear that a whole lot better. Not that with humbuckers it doesn't really matter, but we're bouncing around a lot. And it appears to be a little bit flat. That one appears to be flat. That one also. So everything seems to be across the board a little bit flat. Now, you'll notice that the whole tuning of the guitar changed when I laid it down flat on my bench. We got gravity working here. And this is a very common argument about intonating a guitar, and that is intonated in the playing position. Okay. It's flat. That one's pretty much dead on. You can't get much closer than that. That one's pretty much dead on. A little bit flat, maybe. And proof in the pudding that you should think about intonating your guitar in the playing position, because we were just a moment ago seeing that all the strings were a little bit flat. The A string is definitely flat. I need to raise the pitch of that. And the low string is definitely flat. Right. I just kind of wanted to give them a good look over, meaning I've got to raise the pitch. And everything looks great right now with the guitar in tune. So I need to move this saddle forward and this saddle forward ever so slightly. Let's see what I've got going on here. So let's go ahead and do that. And I've already chosen, I already did. Where did you go? There you are. The proper Allen, hex key. Okay. So with this one, I'm going to have to reposition this set screw in order to move that saddle forward, which is fine. End up doing it quite often on Floyd Rose impregnated guitars. Cinch that bad boy up. Tune the string back up to pitch. And we'll check the intonation one more time in the playing position. There's a right way and a wrong way to do stuff in some cases. I don't treat guitars like music theory. And we're perfect on the D string. Now I need to relocate. I need to move the A string. Let me check it one more time. Definitely a little bit flat. That amount is not too concerning, but
If I take off a little early.
Not a bit, Mike. I'm just rolling.
You're rolling?
I'm rolling.
So you're fine?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That means you're going to have to take the... I try not to do that when you're working on guitars, but you got the counter.
Yeah, and I might stay a little bit late, so if you got the sign on. Yep.
All right.
We're open
and you
until
take
I go
care
home.
of everything. Lock up.
I'll lock the door.
I don't care if Jenny's out there and you're attracted.
Right.
You get the door. That's really shitty.
I got it.
I'm sorry.
How did today go? Was it?
Oh, I think we did right about 9. So it was
nice.
You know, but it was like 4 or 5 sales. You and I did them all in like 10 minutes.
The rest of the day.
It's really been weird. I just need to go eat something. And,
yeah. We'll go.
I can't think of anything else. I don't think there was any weird messages. So the lady that just put in the lifesaver got locked out. So are you gonna pay for the toy? I said, stop, man. Everybody tells me the same thing. So just get a lockout code and learn how to use it, like Chris showed you, and everything will be fine. But if they blow it, or she might have had alcohol.
Yeah, chewing gum or anything. Yeah. I tell everybody that. Don't chew gum. Don't use mouthwash. Just stop.
Energy drinks.
Yeah, anything. Don't drink it. Drink anything but nothing but water.
100% of the time, Marshall, it's user error.
Yeah, we know.
I can't even think of a time that it was a bad unit.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I think Chris has sent back 2 or 3.
Right. Equipment failure when it wasn't.
Yeah. It's really never. It's about as often as it is.
Yeah, I feel those phone calls a lot, and I like to answer them instead of you. I'd rather me.
I get tired of them.
Yeah.
I just say call. I was nicer. I said call Lifesaver. It's something you're doing. They'll give you a lockout code, and then follow the instructions.
Follow the instructions. Yeah. Yep, I hear you.
I try not to get too. God, it sure is a lot of work for the amount of money we get.
Right. Yeah, the amount of phone calls we take on that alone, crazy. But I guess it's helping pay the bills.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we probably make somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 a month. And there's some days where there's really nothing going on in the shop, and Chris will do 6 or 7 of them.
Right.
All right, man.
Amazing.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Okay. Yep, I'll be here. I want to finish this one up. I just got here late today, so I wanted to.
Yeah.
I got 2, 3 done today.
Yeah, it looks like you've got some people that need to come get stuff.
Yeah, and everybody's been called.
I'm sure you're aware of everything that's back here.
Yeah, Al brought in an amplifier I need to take a look at. What was it? I don't know. It's a Panasonic, I think.
I can't think of anything. I like to walk through and that person called, but I don't see anything today. Okay. See you tomorrow, Marshall.
Okay, Mike. Have a good night. All right, so this bad boy is pretty well intonated, set up, adjusted. Hey, Marshall. Dude, Steve, it's a cool guitar, and forgive me for not responding to any of the texts or responses I've been working here. Cool. Yep. All right. We're gonna put the locking nuts back on here and give it a run for its money. See how she does. And I appreciate y'all being here, all of you. Really super cool. All right. And again, most important, this is not a Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. Say that a lot, but you would not believe how many of these I see that are stripped out. It's incredible. Just get it snug and stop. Okay, that's it. No big reefing stuff on it. A joint, do not reef your locking nuts. Okay, we agree on that? Okay, cool. Boy, and this thing, you know, really, again, the Schecters have been really great guitars. I put the locking nuts on there, and typically a guitar will go sharp when you lock those down. This one held tune perfectly. So at this point in the setup, I'm pretty confident that I can use the tremolo or the vibrato bar to its fullest and not have any trouble. I think my day here is done. That thing plays like a dream. Right on. Hey, Sean, thanks for being here, man. Hey, what's up, Jack? Hello. Hey, you guys, forgive me for not responding to comments and things like that when I'm at work. Oops, I almost knocked you over. Are y'all going to puke now? You know, I have to stay busy with my task at hand. So this guitar is basically fully done, and you've watched it. You know, if you want to start at the beginning, you can watch me do all the work on this thing with virtually no interruptions. It's not often I get to do that. When I'm at work here, I have to multitask a lot. Yeah, this thing plays really nicely. I'm not a big fan of the neck, but that's my opinion. It doesn't feel familiar. I'm also not a fan of the type of finish that's on the neck. I would get used to it. I don't sweat a lot when I play. So it just feels kind of odd to me, having been a player of Gibson and Fender guitars for many, many years. So I think I can pretty much knock this one off the list of things to do. It will hang overnight, and I'll check it again in the morning because I'm dealing with springs and strings and balancing those two, and they will move, man. It never fails. But right now, again, I'm going to use my eyeball, which I don't typically do, but there's the bar. You can see that thing is sitting perfectly flat with the top of the guitar, and it did not start out that way. It took a little bit of balancing between the set screws in the back, string tension, and tuning it to drop D to make it right. Cleaned it up a little bit, for sure. But at this point, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to come back tomorrow, given that this is a Schecter and that the guitars are generally pretty well built. Oh, yeah, and we removed the condom off this one for him. If you leave these on your guitar for very long, you're going to regret it because it's going to start peeling up and it'll look like shit. So I recommend get those off of your guitar the moment you get it home. Unless you plan on returning it, I suppose. Which, if it's a Gibson or a Fender, you probably would be thinking about that. Because doesn't what everybody does now is they order a guitar from Guitar Center or Musician's Friend instead of going to a local guitar shop and buying a guitar. They just buy them and then ship them back after you play them for a day or so and decide they're not any good. That seems to be a policy of a lot of people. Interesting. All right. Yeah, really well built guitar. Fun one. Synyster Gates signature. The Floyd Rose, no Sustainiac system in this. Gold hardware. Not a fan of gold. It turns to green after a while. All cleaned up, ready to go. Again, if you're here, hit the thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, you're not commenting. So, you know, you got that. I hope you all have a wonderful evening or morning or day. I'm going to go home, get some dinner, and play guitar tonight when I get home. Thanks for being here. Peace.